Hey everybody, we're back again. I'm here with Jaime Terrilynn, the Portland extrovert. Good to see you, Jamie.
Hey.
So I'm very excited to finally have Jamie on our show. She's been behind the scenes. You've seen her pop up in a lot of different shows, but she's also been crucial to the behind the scenes. You've been a Jack lady of all trades. You've done a lot of different things on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They call me the Portland extrovert, in fact.
Extrovert. Yeah, you've helped out on the show a lot of times. But Jamie has a great other life outside of our show, doing things in Portland. We're going to sit down a little bit now and talk about that as well. So, Jamie, tell me a little bit about, kind of before we get to your Portland extrovert days, which is more recent. You grew up in Maine?
Yep, I am Jamie from Maine. Maine. I am my town and state, which made me a born extrovert and tour guide.
And what was Maine like growing up in Maine?
Oof.
It's a smaller
Painfully
town.
boring.
Right, boring, yeah.
And I could not wait to get out and live life to the fullest. And that's why I make my life, my livelihood, helping others live their best life.
So what age did you move out from right? When you got to be 18?
Yep, as soon as I graduated a year early.
Okay.
In fact, so
Yep.
I could get out and I could go on to New York City
New York. So did you
and become a nanny.
became a nanny? There was no stop in Portland. You went straight from to New York, to the bigger cities.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I learned to drive on 5-lane highways with a stick shift for my first ever driving on a highway. Because
Okay.
we never even went to Portland, Maine,
Oh, okay.
the
yeah.
big city of Maine.
And as we know, Portland has really only been more exciting of a city in the past decade or so. So when you had left, Portland was fun, but it wasn't as happening as New York.
No, it was more like Greenwich Village kind of vibe going on
A
here.
little slower. So did you spend all of that time before you came back to Maine and New York, or did you bounce around a little bit to other cities?
Ooh, yeah, I worked my way back. I tried Massachusetts. Nope.
Boston?
I tried New York again, but
Yep.
upstate more, just an hour out of the city, but still too far out of the city. So I figured, hey, if I'm going to live in quiet city, I'm going to come to Portland.
Come to Portland.
And be here where
Yeah.
my nieces were being born.
Family here. Do you still nanny sometimes?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
still get to
okay,
nanny
yeah.
I nanny at least one day a week to
Okay.
keep my little precious moments with nuggets.
Yes. And so we'll talk a little bit about being the Portland extrovert, kind of tour guides, a lot of interesting things. So what year did you get back to Portland?
Oof, my goodness. I traveled to New York, to Boston, to New York, to California, to
Right.
Boston, to Portland. I think I bought my house in '06.
06, okay.
So it was soon after I moved back. I bought my house since I knew I was going to stay.
Yeah, you decided Portland is it. This is where you want to
Well, because of my nieces being born, I decided I was not going to miss them being born.
be. Okay, and growing up too. And these same nieces now are probably like practically in college or something, right?
They are in college.
Yeah, exactly.
They
'cause
are.
that's-
They just were lined up at 17, 18, 19, and 20.
Okay, okay. Are they out of state? Did they stick around in Maine or?
Well, sort of, in a sense, Central Maine is out of state because
It's different
this is a
vibe,
whole
yeah.
different state than even Central and Northern Maine here in
Right.
Portland.
We are,
But
yeah.
yes, they are in Wayne, Maine.
Wayne, Maine.
So
it
they
rhymes,
left
yeah.
Maine
J
and
Maine
went
too.
to Wayne, Maine.
Okay, okay. And do they come and visit their aunt often up here to go out? Or?
I wish.
Yeah.
Auntie gets a visit, like when they're about to get married. I just got one. And when, I tell them that they're always welcome.
Yeah.
I hope that they come and visit a heck of a lot more because Auntie misses them.
So when you got here, you already had the bug to be a tour guide, a promoter, an influencer, or is this more recent that you got more excited about that side of things?
I have always loved helping people live their best life and helping find the activities, the life, the joy, kind of like Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
I want you to get excited about your life.
Okay.
Is kind of how I treat my friends and community around me. So I would always find the live music, find the events for nannying. I'd find the best kids activities, and for my nieces, I'd find like the best free gymnastics and go see a children's show. And then, but for like food. We became the foodie city. Once we became the foodie city, then that was fun because then I got to go around taking people on tours of the best food, and then we had the best brews. And we've always had good Brussels. So I've
Yes.
always helped people find the best Brussels.
For the audience out there, how do they get in touch with you? What's the best way to, if they want to do a tour, if they want to learn more about the Portland area?
Ooh, that is good. I do have postcards that
Yeah.
have my
Info?
contact name, influencer, promoter,
Put
tour
that
guide.
right up here, yeah. At Portland Extrovert. They can reach you at dove78@hotmail.com if they want to get in touch with you.
Yep. And
Those are probably the best ways, right?
right, and I do have my contact info, and I
Yeah.
have a flyer up here at Portland Media
Portland
Center.
Media Center if you want to learn more
And then
about
at
it.
the Historic Society and
Okay,
a few
yeah.
other shops downtown.
Yeah.
And you can look me up, Jaime Terrilynn,
Jaime Terrilynn on Facebook.
Jaime.
Okay.
And then the
Facebook,
Terrillyn is my first and middle. I'm the one and only on
Terrilynn.
Facebook and Instagram.
Yes,
So
yes.
pretty
Pretty good.
extroverted and important.
But you never know. There might be more people now that they see this that want to
That want
be
to
the
take
next
that name.
version of you. Exactly.
The Portland
Extrovert. So let's talk a little bit about that because I find that really interesting. You've been here, obviously. It was very interesting that you got here about 4 years before. So what happened was there was a write-up in one of these which one was it?
The Bon Appetit.
Well, that's what I thought. Yeah, and they said Portland, Maine, one of the best restaurant towns that maybe you had never heard of. And the ball started rolling from there. But you had got there 4 years earlier to Maine. So in that 4 years, you kind of had a little bit of lead up and then the build up. And so what are the places you recommend? What excites you about the downtown?
Well, I love that I was here before all
Yes.
the write-ups, so I did have a feel on the community, on the new brews and food, and all the businesses coming up and the business owners, so I do get to know them personally. So that's been delightful to hear, like, what they enjoy.
What they enjoy, right?
Making and what they wanted to focus on. And then we had unique ideas beyond the seafood, which is a given for Maine.
Yeah.
But we also had the Brussels sprouts. We were known for like all these different concoctions and ways of making Brussels, which was so funny.
Yeah.
Because then they came up with the duck fat Friedchak, who decided to use duck fat to cook fries and Brussels and
Yeah.
make their version of poutine, which is another classic for Maine and Canada. And then we also have the brews that you can add in. So the breweries would be next door, the food would be there. And then we had Thirsty Pig that brought in music and brought together Bissell Brothers plus their food. And then that grew into Bissell Brothers creating their amazing high roller, which deserves accolades
And-
for creating seafood in a fashionably fun sort of way.
And a lot of this you talk about is right down the old part on Exchange Street.
Yes, right
Yeah,
downtown.
because that's Thirsty Pig. I know that. Thirsty Pig, great place for
Right
live
across
music.
from Blythe and Burroughs,
Blythe
one of
and
the most popular
Burroughs,
bars
popular
in the
bar.
Old Port
Yeah.
now, with great concoctions, like potions for
Potions.
their drinks.
And
with
High
a
Rollers,
speakeasy in
great
the
for
back.
lobster rolls.
Lobby pops. They do
Okay.
lobster tails on
Yeah.
a popsicle stick
Okay.
with many different flavors
yeah.
also. So they've done, so it like kind of grew spiraling, like, you know, Thirsty Pig let Bissell brew, and then became popular and then created High Roller. And then High Roller had their mother make the whoopie pie. So their mommy made whoopies
She made the whoopie pies.
at
Yeah.
High Roller
Okay.
with these like fusion style seafood dishes. And then, you know, out of that grew other businesses. And then beside it is now probably one of my most favorite, which most people wouldn't even know, is Crispy Guy
Okay.
with Kyle Reynolds, who broke off of Mr. Tuna, which is one of the ones that got its right up and brought our town to become this foodie city. And
Yeah,
now
Mr. Tuna, yeah.
his second in command has his own restaurant now. Kyle Reynolds has Crispy Guy, and it is angel sing heavenly tasting, like
okay.
you've never had before.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't know to go there because it's a little hole in the wall next to the hidden treasure of a Revolutionary War piece of memorabilia.
Which street is
That
this? Where
this
is
is all
it?
on Exchange
On
Street.
Exchange.
down
So
in
we're
the
still
Old
sticking
Port.
to Exchange Street. Yes. Okay.
Lots of Exchange Street
Yeah,
is
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of what I'm visualizing going down through because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
the
yeah.
main street in the Old Port.
Okay.
It is actually the most walked there and Wharf Street. And so when you're walking down Exchange Street, you hit so many restaurants. When you could start from City Hall, built after the New York City Public Library, based off of that Carrere and Hastings came up with, and then you walk down. There's High Roller, Crispy Guy, other gorgeous restaurants that have made a name for themselves.
And
And then you come up
yeah.
you cross over a middle,
Yeah.
and you come to Blythe and Burroughs that has such a following and has people coming in from all around. So that is a lot of fun.
What about the pastries place that's down?
Gross.
Yeah. How's
Yeah, that
Good?
one
Yeah.
I've recommended people to go and get pastries. I walk on down Blythe. If I'm getting a pastry, I often turn as you're coming down Exchange,
Yeah.
past Blythe. You turn, and then there's gorgeous gelato. So there's right near Gritty's, and there's a little walkway
Yeah,
in
that-
between
right.
Gritty's and Gorgeous to walk down to Wharf Street. That will
Okay.
lead you right to my favorite restaurant, Via Vecchia.
Yes.
But we'll talk more about Via Vecchia and a speakeasy in the back that's
Okay.
like a Phantom of the Opera meets the Titanic.
Interesting.
Glamorous spot.
Okay.
I adore. But if you're just going for dessert,
Yeah.
scoot on over to Gorgeous, authentic Milan, gorgeous gelato.
Gorgeous gelato.
And they'll
isn't-
make an affogato,
Okay.
which is unique to the culture, where you'd have a gorgeous cup of authentic espresso and your choice of gelato
And the gelato too.
mixed in there, and you just share it with a loved one and have a romantic little rendezvous
So
on the streets of Italy /
Yeah.
the Old Port
What
for an
about-
exchange.
what about do you like the place that's next to it that seems to be an Asian type of place that I've seen
The
there?
Tiger, the Paper Tiger.
Is that any good? Yeah.
Paper Tiger's fun. It's definitely like a hangout scene.
More hangout, yeah. Younger.
After
fun.
work,
After work.
hangout
A
scene.
lot of the people who work in the industry kind of thing, you think, or
That, plus
Yeah.
also people after the 9 to 5.
just after 9 to 5. So what about two places I'm wondering about? Well, the first one I'll ask you about, there's that new place that used to be Walter's. How's that? Do you like that one?
I have not been.
Haven't been. I think it's Puerto Rican maybe or something like that.
Yeah, that will be fun to check out.
Worth checking out, right?
That will be fun. It's like, for me, I've lately been super excited about having Crispy Guy whenever
Crispy
I'm
guy. I
downtown.
gotta try this crispy guy. Is that an Asian type of thing? Is that
Yes,
what you're talking
it's
about?
like an
And
Asian infusion. It's gonna be a cult classic.
called classic.
It's gonna be. Well, think of Mr. Tuna.
Mr.
That
Tuna.
was one of the calling cards for the Portland foodie scene.
And what about the restaurants down on that Wharf Street? I know that was always Street and Company.
That's Via Vecchia.
Via
and
Vecchia
Street
is right
Company.
around. Yeah,
They're right
exactly.
beside each other, and right across from each other. But
So-
the
yeah.
vines
Yeah.
leading up to Via Vecchia, and
okay.
the fact that you just say, "I'd like to be seated in the back."
Yeah, yeah.
You walk into Candelabras, and Phantom of the Opera meets the Titanic vibe from like the 20s to 40s kind of vibe.
Okay.
And it's glitz and glam.
Glitz and glam.
You just feel magical when you walk in there.
On the next interview, let's talk a little bit more about the nightlife scene. But just for a teaser, what would you say is your favorite nightlife scene? Do you think Henry's is where it's
Henry's
at?
is a given, fabulous, right there in the center of town.
Okay.
Right at the end of Exchange, corner of 4, bam. There's always live music, sometimes upstairs and downstairs. And they have a great blackened fish sandwich and Brussels and just so many, they really did a good job with the food, the
Well, so the
ambiance, and the
restaurateur
fact
behind
live
that, Josh Miranda, who has Via Vecchia's, he has Henry's, the new Puerto Rican restaurant. You know the name, I'm sure, maybe.
And then there's
And then
Blythe and Burroughs.
Blythe and Burroughs. He's all in that very collected area, but he always
There's
picks
a fifth one coming.
fifth one coming, and he always picks very good chefs. So the menu is always a great staple. But Henry's, a lot of live music. Our friend
Jazz
Lee
every
Callis is
Wednesday
playing
night.
jazz Wednesday nights. Go check that out if you like mellow live music upstairs and downstairs. It depends sometimes.
Upstairs on the weekends, they pep it up with
Pep
a
it up on the
DJ.
upstairs, yeah. Check out the Henry's. It's open all the time. Live music. It's a great place. On our next interview, we're going to talk a little bit more about nightlife. Are you excited about that? Do you know a few
I love
kind of
it.
hidden places? You're helping people live their best lives, and we want to make sure that people know how to get in touch with you. So we'll send that out to you guys again right here. And it's also the best bet, I think, is Portland Extrovert on Instagram and Facebook, right? to find
Yep,
you?
or just look up Jaime Terrilynn.
Jaime Terrilynn on there,
Yeah.
as well. Okay, so we'll be right back and watch shortly for our second episode talking about the nightlife in Portland.
Perfect.
We'll be right back.